I'm Brian Matthews.
Good morning, I'm Leanne Malakote.
We are in downtown Rockwood at Wilk Production Studios, and it's time for the We Are Rockwood podcast. But before we start, I want to turn it to Leanne for our salute to service.
Okay, thank you. This morning, we want to recognize hometown hero Buddy Marsh. He was drafted into the Army. He served in Vietnam, and he received a Silver Star. And Buddy is a true hometown hero, and we appreciate his service to our country and this community. So this morning's guest is Larry Hembree. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, we're excited. I know you're a listener or a watcher of the podcast.
Enjoyed them.
Good. And you are a long-time Rockwood person, though you are retired and live in Crossville now. And before we get into Larry, let's talk about Buddy for just a minute. You asked if he could be today's hometown hero. A lot of people know who he is. He was your cousin. Can you tell us a little bit about Buddy?
Well, Buddy was a unique person. With the injuries he received, a lot of people would have went home, camped out, not got up, not done anything, but Buddy was totally opposite. He farmed out where he lived at the lake right across the street was where my grandparents had a dairy farm. And Buddy, I guess he got that land or bought it from Aunt Emma. But that whole hillside up there, if you ever go by there, it's cleared out. He done all of that. And I think probably Kurt helped him a little bit, his son, and his grandson probably helped some, but Buddy done the majority of it. He still deer hunted. He'd harvest a deer, load it up, bring it out of the woods by himself, and I really admired him, not just because he's my cousin, but I've often thought, you know, if I'd been in that same different situation, I doubt if I'd have come out as good as what he turned out.
So he was severely injured in Vietnam, and then he spent the most of his life in a wheelchair.
Yep. He, I think it was either 68 or 69. I can't remember if I was a freshman or a sophomore, but I remember I was at the basketball game at Rockwood, and his brother-in-law, Dennis Brazel, came up there, and he was looking for me. They was trying to find me. Evidently, I think Emma and Noel had just, gotten the word, and Dad told them that, I was at the ball game, so Dennis come up there and found me, and so, I left, and we went out to Emma and Noel's that night, but pretty tough time. Pretty tough time. And he spent, I don't know how many months in the hospital, I don't remember, but it was quite a bit.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. And I introduced you just by your name, Larry, and as Buddy's cousin, but you and I also are related somehow. We share, my great-great-grandparents are your grandparents, so somebody out there can understand what that makes us. But where I remember you is from the golf course. You're an avid golfer, so we'll talk about that too.
Okay.
I think that you had listened to the Stacy and Andrea Miller episode. That might have been when you first reached out to me, or I'm not sure.
I believe it was.
I'm not sure.
Yep.
Okay. So just tell us about Larry. Growing up, you grew up in Rockwood. Your parents had a store.
AA Grocery.
Yeah, near Ridgeview Elementary. I used to stop there walking home. So tell us about growing up in Rockwood, your family, all that stuff.
Well, I was born in 1953, graduated Rockwood in 1971, and my dad's name was Alvin, mom's name was Arleva, and Dad worked, I think it's 26 or 27 years at K25. He was delivering Cokes up there. He worked for Charlie Cole and Jimmy Cole.
Okay.
They went to school together and good friends and went to church together. And so Dad knew what, government was paying, and he went in there one day to take the bill for the Cokes and asked the lady in there, said, who would I need to talk to about getting a job up here? And she looked at him and said, you're talking to the right one right now. So he put an application in, and I think it was maybe a month, because they was just wanting, people that could work, construction. And I can't remember, he told me that it was either 4 or 5 blocks high on the original K-25 building. And he stayed there about 26, 27 years, and they were starting to phase out production because all of it was going over to Y12. And so he'd kind of wanted, his brother was in a store business. He had a store in Palm Grove later over there across the street from Baptist Church. There were the ones that get the meals and things together there on the corner.
Oh.
Lawrence and Edith had a store there. So Dad, he wanted to put a store up. And so he built that store out there. I think I was in the 2nd grade, I believe. And he swore up until the day he passed away, because I'd asked him every once in a while, I said, Dad, I said, you knew they was going to build that school because they started construction the next year after the store, actually during when it was being constructed, because he knew Bill Herron, Orville McNally, a lot of the politicians, they all went to school together or whatever. But he said he didn't. He said that he found out after he's about halfway through the store.
It was an excellent location.
Yeah, he must have had a horseshoe in his back pocket maybe. But that turned out, it turned out good and bad. It was good because I was right there close to the school. And we were the first class that went to Ridgeview. I was in the 6th grade, had Miss Christine Grant.
Okay.
Do either of you know how they decided which school you was going to go to? At that time, it was the original school. I think they've built onto it maybe once or twice since then. Mm-hmm. But if you lived on that side of the railroad track, you went to Ridgeview. If you lived on that side of the railroad, you stayed over
at Central.
Yeah, because I remember my 5th grade year, I had Miss Lucille Green. And the last week that we were in school, she knew she was going over there to teach. And she incorporated all of us, me and Tommy Pemberton. He didn't do a lot of work. But anyway, we all got together and loaded up boxes and everything. And then the first day over there, they had all their boxes. They hadn't done any preliminary, and we helped unload boxes for various ones.
Interesting. So when Ridgeview first opened, it went through 6th grade.
Yeah.
Because then when I came through, after you, it stopped at 3rd grade.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
And then I had to go to Central, after that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So my cousin Craig lived on the other side of the railroad track, so he went to Central instead of Ridgeview.
Yep. Craig was a year ahead of me. I think he graduated in 70, I believe. Yep. So, we had a good group, and if I can, I'll tell you one funny story.
Oh, please.
I was always interested in making $1 any way I could. I mean, I went up and raked leaves, delivered papers, plus worked at the store, which one time I made a mistake asking Dad about, what am I going to get paid up here? And he said, hey, like that shirt on your back and them blue jeans you're wearing. And I got the message, but anyway, I come up with an ingenious idea, or at least I thought it was, to go in business out there at school. There's a lot of the kids that rode the buses and everything, and they couldn't ride the bus, so Mom and Dad back in the office part back there, they always got samples from various vendors, candy and cake vendors. So every morning when I got ready to get to school, I'd go by there and take, we called them a poke, paper sack. Mm-hmm. I'd get me a poke and I'd load me up a poke. And that far column up there in the covered playground, I still think about it every time I go up there. But behind that column was my little business. And I had kids, I mean, they'd be waiting on me, when I got up there. And I was surprised teachers never did, try to shut me down or anything. And But anyway, long story short, I come in one afternoon, and my first job back then, you paid a deposit on the pop bottles, and then you could bring them back. Dad had kids all over the neighborhood. They'd go out and get these bottles. They had dirt in them and everything you can imagine. My first chore when I got in was to go downstairs and take them out there and wash them. He had a big tub, wash them out, had a wire scrub thing, and then I had to separate them by brand, because when the Coke company or beverage companies come back, like Pepsi, RC Cola, Coca-Cola, them, and so I come in one afternoon. I'd been doing this probably 2 or 3 weeks. I had money in my pocket to spend, money to jingle, as my uncle used to say. But Dad come in one afternoon. He come downstairs after the rush. They always called it the morning rush and the afternoon rush, when all the kids were coming through and everything. And they had a heck of a business there. And he come downstairs and he got looking, what I was doing. He said, "Is there something you needed to tell me?" And I don't know why, but it seemed like I found trouble, or trouble found me a lot. And I was hesitating. I thought, now which one is he talking about? And he says, "Have you been having a little business go on?" Lo and behold, one of the, I guess it's a housekeeping bunch, janitors, whatever, they came out often because they had a tab with Mom and Dad. There wasn't these big suppliers and everything. And she made a comment, something to the effect, that said, "Larry's turned out to be a little entrepreneur." And Dad said, "What do you mean?" And she proceeded to tell him, and that's when the belt come out again.
Again?
Oh, yeah, it come out several times. Aunt Emma used to kid me that a lot of times I didn't get to participate in like cookouts or whatever. I was either grounded or I just had a whipping. And we got it, a lot of kids back then got it with belt, and parents, or the dads, must have went to the same school, because Dad would jerk that belt off his pants and he'd double it and then he'd pop it. My knees would just turn to rubber, just go ahead and hit me, But a lot of times too, he'd tell me, he'd say, "You go on downstairs, get your chores done. I'll be down there," when I was going to get a whipping for something. So he'd let me sit down there and think about it, how bad is it going to be for about 30 minutes. But yeah, a lot of parents, but we pretty well, most of the time, done what they told us to do,
Of course.
Yeah. And I was in school when they was still paddling, and I've said it and I still believe it 100%, but when they took prayer and discipline out of the schools, I don't want nobody to get hurt or get, really hurt, but
let's not spare the rod.
Yeah, this timeout stuff, and some of that, I guess they still do it, but
is that how you disciplined your kids? Did you whip them with a belt?
I only had to whip Kevin 2 times.
Oh.
Yeah, I whipped him one time because he kicked a babysitter that was staying with him, and she, because I noticed her leg when I went to take her home, and I said, her name was Granny Rose, and I said, "Granny Rose, what happened to your leg?" And she said, "I probably hit something." And I said, "Granny Rose, what happened to your leg?" And she told me, and so I whipped him not bad. And then the other time I come in early one day from work, and he was back in his room. Donna was around the kitchen, and him and her were fussing, and he said some things that I didn't like. So I just eased up around, and I eased around the corner. When he saw me, them eyes went back. But that's the only time I ever whipped him. Now Donna, I think, whipped him. She whipped him probably a little bit more, but I was a little easier on him. But it's me and David, and like I told y'all a while ago, a lot of people are surprised, but there's 14 years difference between me and David.
Okay.
So he's almost gone. He's gone to UT almost. I think I was in the 2nd or 3rd grade, and then he got married when I was in the 4th, I think. So.
Okay. Well, this makes me think of the pictures that we're going to go through. You
Okay.
had sent some pictures. So, Scott, let's go ahead and start with the grandparents, and then we'll get to David and your family. We could expand on that. So, who are we looking at here?
That's my mom's father and mother, Dexter and Dora Hembree.
Okay.
And Dora lived, we think, to 102.
Yes. So they're my great-great-grandparents, and then the next picture shows the same couple.
Yep.
Older. I don't know how old they are there.
Yep.
Okay, good. So this next picture came out of one of my photo albums, and I've written there that Dora was born in 1882, and so she's 89 in these pictures. And then there on the bottom, I have a list of everybody's names. So let's see. I see Arleva and Alvin Hembree in there.
You want me to go left to right for you?
Yeah, and the Corny Farmer, she was she's actually the third one from the left. She was my great-grandmother. Yeah, can you name all those?
The first one there is Claudie Carter. She was married to Ira Carter. The second one was Dorsey Carter. He was married to Ruby. And then I can say this now, all of them being gone, but Aunt Cordy and me were a whole lot alike.
Oh, yeah?
We had a little mischief in, and I just loved her to death, you know. And that next one was some lady that I guess we didn't know the word then, but photo bombed us, I guess. No, I take it back. I'm thinking of another picture. That is Ora Hembree. That is Clyde, which is next to her.
He's kind of just peeking around.
Yeah, peeking around. He was a character. And then that was next to him is Clifford. He was also a preacher. He used to be over the water department, done the inspections and things out at the water plant.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to let me go with him every once in a while. And then that's Ida, Clifford's wife, and then that's Aunt Ruth, and I think looks like Uncle Houston married to Ruth behind, and then that's my mom, Arleva. And then, let's see, I'm not sure who that gentleman, oh, that's Daddy.
Well,
for some
his
reason,
face is obscure.
Yeah, that's my dad, Alvin. And then Dorsey is over there. I said Dorsey earlier, that is Ira Carter next to Claudie, the first two there. And then got kind of bald, that's George Wicks. He's married to Reba. That's Reba right in front of him. And then Ruby Carter right beside her. They were the two twins.
They were twins.
And there was one other one, Benton. He was the oldest, but he died when he was 19. I think Mom told me it was appendicitis issue.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yep.
Okay, so, and of course, Granny Hembree is there in the middle. Scott, would you bring the next picture? It's also a family group picture. I don't know if there's anybody different in this or not. Is that the same people?
That over there on the ends of the picture, I was thinking, that lady there, I guess now we can say she photobombed.
She's the photobomber.
Nobody in the family knew her.
I love it. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Leanne wore that same outfit for our first podcast.
I love that outfit. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. So Melissa Carter is going to be on our show.
Okay.
What are her? Which family? Which Carters are she? Dana Carter.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No, I take it back. Paul Ed, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
I might throw one of these pictures up when she's on here and see if she can name them. Tell her that Larry got all of them right. We wouldn't know anyway.
You could have said anything. You could have said anything.
Sort of. I don't know. I know some of them. Okay, so then there's you sent a picture of this. Is this a sign that somebody made or a plaque?
Yeah, I think his name was Harry Moppins. They were, let's see, I think they were from California. They came in a lot to visit family, and they always went by and saw Grandma and visited with them.
And of course, she lived to be beyond 100. We think 102?
102, I think, yeah.
Okay. Let's look at the next picture.
That's my dad, Alvin. not sure how old he was then.
He's very young looking.
Very young.
Okay, and then next we've got, I like this, I love this picture. Tell us about it.
That was made at our house over on Patton. The house that, we originally were out on New Hope. Mom and Dad had a farm on New Hope Road and right up next to the Easters. And I was really young when we moved to town, but the house was directly behind the store. And but yeah, that little runt to the left there is me, and you can probably look and see that it's 14 years probably between us. And David always looked out for me.
That is so sweet. I love it. I love it.
He saved me a lot of whippings when he was home.
Did he?
He'd get me, Daddy'd be getting ready to get the belt after me, and David said, let's go throw the baseball around some, or football, whatever. When he was gone, I was there to take it off.
Yeah. You didn't have your protector.
No, I didn't have my protector.
I guess he had been through it all already.
Yeah.
That's fun. Okay, next, David has a road named after him.
That's out at the golf course. They did that last year, and that one on the left is Mark. That's David's middle son, and then David's wife, Jenny. And then the young lady there next to me is Macy. She's Meredith's daughter. She's at East Tennessee State up there.
Oh, okay.
In fact, all three of David's went to East Tennessee State.
Okay.
And the city, they were nice enough. Mike Fuller and April Faust was very instrumental in it, and that was greatly appreciated. David spent a lot of time out there. He's on the board a couple of times, I think, and then he's a treasurer for, I don't know, 7, 8 years probably.
Okay.
So.
All right. Our next picture is you and your...
That's me and Donna.
Oh,
that was at Easter Journey to the Cross at the church we attend, Central Baptist. Unfortunately, we lost Donna in June of 23 after a 12-year battle with cancer. But good Lord was good to us. At the front, they gave her 14 months. She had 2 brain tumors. And then later on that year, December the 7th, David died. So 23 was...
You had a rough year.
23 was kind of tough.
Okay, and then this next picture is... That's your parents again, and this is...
That's Meredith.
Meredith, okay.
Yeah, she's my niece.
You had 2 sons.
I just
Correct.
had one. Kevin.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, and so Meredith's daughter's who we saw in the other picture
Macy.
with them. Okay. Then this next picture, I recognize several people here. Can you tell us?
Those were all class of 71 classmates. When Jonathan, better known as Booger Faust, got sick, we would go over, usually about once a month, and visit with him. That particular day there, as I recall, Arlene had fixed dinner and wanted all of us to eat dinner with Jonathan, which we did. But the one on the left, I think y'all probably know, Councilman Reed, Mike Reed. And then the next one is Ricky Miller. The one back there behind is Steve Fulmer. Then Jonathan, then me behind, and then Virgil McAnally, and then Tommy. Yeah, Tommy and Virgil gonna have to start wearing hats when they're in pictures.
So do you guys get together regularly at the clubhouse for lunch?
We do. In fact, we just started before this coming month, May. We just pick out, usually on a Friday. We'd go to, most time is out at Ratchet's. Sometimes we went up to the Gondolier in Midtown. Once we went over to the barbecue place in Kingston there, right across the bridge. But beginning in May, we're going to do it every month, the last Friday in the month at 1 o'clock. So that'll make it, some of them asked me if we could do it, put a certain date because they was having trouble scheduling whatever they're doing. So
So it's mostly the class of 71 that
Yeah.
gets together. I
And
I think Craig comes to that.
Yeah, Craig does
Even
come
though
to
he's
that.
he's a year older.
Oh, we count him. You know, he's a
Y'all- Yeah. Had a lot of- So I know that's just a great group of guys.
It is.
And it's so impressive to me. I love it that you, after all these years, stay connected.
Well, we had talked to it, or talked about it, I don't know, for probably 8-10 years, you know. Said, you know, we ought to get together somewhere and just, you know, play cards or have lunch. So finally happened.
Yeah.
And we usually have, on average, 10 to 15 of us.
Yeah. We ought to go on site sometime.
Yeah, you'd
Just
be-
bombard you and start
Be
interviewing.
more than
Yeah,
welcome to
be fun.
have you.
Be fun. Okay, I've got another picture, and this is your BFF, I guess.
That's my brother by another mother, Gary Baisley.
Yeah. Can you tell me how long have you known Gary?
Gary, well, Albert and Leah, when they first moved to Rockwood, you know, right out there, that road right below Ridgeview there that went by Crabtrees.
Yeah.
And it's probably, Mike Fuller's grandmother and grandfather lived in that corner house. And when Leah, well, it was the corner
Okay.
it was Marshall Lane.
Okay.
And then their house is Marshall Lane and Nelson right there. And they moved out there probably when I was about in second, third grade maybe. And me and Gary just struck up a friendship, and
He was in the neighborhood.
yeah, just in the
He probably
neighborhood.
came over to the AA to get a Coca-Cola every now and then.
Pretty regular.
Yeah. I did. Okay. And then your true love here.
That's Miss Sheba.
And this is out at Tansy. Where is this? Or
That's sitting in my driveway. It's
Oh,
over
the
there at the
driveway.
garage. The other driveway over there is my lawn keeper named it my man cave. That's where I sit and smoke a cigar and let Sheba sit out and enjoy nature. But majority of the people around the neighborhood, she's got 3 or 4 that'll come by and drop her a biscuit, you know, a dog biscuit, and they know Miss Sheba, but a lot of them don't know me still. And me and Donna moved out there in 2014.
let's see, we got another picture of Sheba, and then we'll wrap up the pictures after that. I think that, how old is Sheba now?
She'll be 11 in July.
She's a good companion.
Yep.
So I teased Larry that she was his favorite in the family, since I got more pictures of her.
Kind of leads that way,
Yeah, a
don't it?
little bit.
I never could teach her to bring a golf ball that went astray back to
Oh.
me. Yeah, but well, I couldn't take her on the golf course
Yeah.
while they was operating, but we ride all around it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your days on the Rockwood golf course. I know you start golfing when you were very young.
I started when I was 10 years old back in '63, and if you asked anybody who started me, 9 out of 10 will say David.
Okay.
But that's not what happened. Jerry and Jimmy Hanley, they lived right across the street down there from us where Shot and
LJ.
Ella J lived. And both of them worked out at the golf course when it was the old clubhouse. They worked out there, you know, cutting weeds, mowing greens. When I started playing, Elmer James was the pro. And I looked up one day, there's a piece of ground down there right across the street from our house on the side street, Evan Street, between us and Mr. Me. Daddy always kept it mowed, and even though it was the city's property. And I come out one day and I looked down there and they had this funny looking flag and they had a thing going around. I thought, what are they doing? So I walked down there, and what they'd done, they'd got some old cups that were no longer in use at the golf course and some old flags, and they built a little putt and a chipping course. And it went up from Patton all the way up to Pump House there. I mean, we had, I forget how many holes, we had about probably 6 holes. And they'd have a bunch of clubs laid out down there, and they'd say, come down here. He said, you need to learn how to play golf. I said, I don't want to play that game, and they said, well, it's not like taking a baseball 80 mile an hour. So, the ball just sits there waits for you to hit it. And I said, well, let me try it. And boy, I tell you what, I hit about the third shot and I was hooked. I was hooked. And David happened to come by the store one day and look down there, and we was all down there. We'd have a gang down there. We'd have a few games, on the side. And David come down there, and I think he even hit some shots that day down there, And then he got to asking me, if I wanted to go to the golf course. I guess you could say in a way he did start me, because he took me to the golf course.
To the real golf course.
To the real golf course,
I'm going to have to look for that little space you're talking about.
Yeah, it's right there across the road, when you turn down off a pump house and come over to the house there. It's that little strip of ground.
Oh.
Well, I think, now that I think about it, I think it may be houses or double wides or something. They've added several houses right around
they filled in that
around
that
there.
area.
Yeah, but we had a lot of fun there.
That is so interesting.
And David, I'm left-handed, but David, of course, he's right-handed, and he played right-handed. And I'm not even sure they made left-handed clubs back in '63, but I started playing right-handed, started using his clubs, and then I've tried to hit balls left-handed before. In baseball, I could hit either side, left or right, after I started playing golf. And but to hit a golf ball left-handed, I've tried, and it feels so awkward to me. But anyway, I've played a lot of golf. Played a lot, met a lot of nice people on the golf course. Yeah. Your mom and dad, I used to see them come out there. Dr. Hicks and his wife was out there. Back then we had a bunch of women playing back then. Klein and Bolin and Jenny Coppinger and my old teacher buddy, Miss Willis. Oh boy.
Miss Willis told a story. Who had to kiss her on the golf course if she got on the green?
Yeah, I don't even remember.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't. It was the funniest story. You'll have to go back and listen to that podcast. She tells that story. Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah, she was one of them that got to give me a sample of her paddling, and wound out. It was going to be 3 legs, and I stopped at the teacher's lounge to get me a coach. Because most of the time they'd take us down to the bowling room and they'd get a witness. And the witness would be standing over there in the corner giggling. Eichelberger's most of the time mine. He'd be over there. I'd say, hush, coach. And anyway, she caught me flipping a young lady one day with a paper wallet. About the time I let her go. And Larry, just come on with me. So we walk outside, and we was up in the cafeteria where study hall was. It was in study hall. I wasn't studying. So she said, go on down to the bowling room. You know where to go. You know very well where to go. I said, okay. So I looked back, and I didn't see her, so I stopped by the teacher's lounge. I had me, I think, a quarter then. I got me a quarter and put it in there and got me a coat. Went on down. She come down there, and she looked. She said, where did that coat come from? I wasn't going to lie, and I thought she might give me a break, not lying. I said, I got it, Miss Willis. Said, where'd you get it? I said, at the teacher's lounge. And who told you could go in there? And I said, nobody. All right, just add up one more lick to that. Oh, man. But she played with a lot of us that played on the golf. She was a great golfer.
She was very competitive, and she was a good athlete, I believe.
And she'd play, a lot of times she'd ask me or Sam Owens or Gerald Russell or Tony Hamby, some of us, y'all gonna play this evening, which, during golf season, we was playing or practicing about every afternoon. Gordon Mason at the time was our coach, and so she caught me in the hall that afternoon. I was getting ready to head out the back door, and she said, Hembree, y'all playing this afternoon? I said, I imagine we probably will. Well, I'll head on out there. I said, Miss Willis, you're the same one that busted me here about 3 hours ago, and you want me to play golf with you? She said, well, I was working on my wedge. So I've got it straightened out, and I want to try it out now. I said, you got it worked out. I said, you're doing fine. But I loved her.
That's a hoot. She's a character.
Yeah, she always wanted me to take Spanish. I said, Miss Willis, I have a hard enough time speaking English. I don't need to take on another language, but she was great.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk some more about high school days. Some of the other teachers you had, maybe if you did some extracurricular activities. What were your high school days like?
Probably didn't realize this till not too long ago, but we had it made back in the 60s and 70s. Rockwood was really a good town. We had a good school. Some of the teachers, Miss Dawn Hood, she was one of my favorite.
She's wonderful.
Miss Eagle. I think my freshman year, Mildred Lindsay was still there, and then I think Miss Faye Bowen was maybe there, but I think they retired after my freshman year. Had Miss Ellen Burns, Harry T's wife. And I tell you what, I had her for history, and I loved her, and I can still hear her saying it. She'd give us a reading assignment, you know, the night before, and she would come in. You had to fold your paper a certain way, and you had to put your name, I don't remember which corner, but a certain way. And she'd give you 3 questions, and she called them quickies. She'd say, get your papers before you. Gonna have a quickie. And I thought, oh man, I wished I knew I should have read that last night. But the best thing in her class, as y'all probably know, Harry T. Burns was the deciding vote in the suffrage. She got him to come and talk about that. You know, his mother basically told him, you're going to go vote.
I love that story. Yes.
And he told it just like that. He said, I did not go against my mama for nothing.
Good advice.
Yeah. And an hour was not enough. And he said he would try to come back. Of course, he was at the bank then. Actually, he's the one that got David into banking. He hired David at First National. And
so my mom worked for Harry T. when she was at the bank.
She may have
for
been
a little
there
while.
when David was there. Yeah.
I don't know.
But man, I tell you what, he was just like a college professor. I mean, he had everyone's attention that day. Just, you know, he led up to, you know, the day that went by his mom's house that evening for dinner, and she said, "You will vote for that tomorrow, Harry T."
Well, good for her.
He said he went in and said he voted for it.
Yeah.
And but he never got to come back. I assume, you know, he was busy.
Yeah.
But let's see, we had Terry Honeycutt, had him for chemistry. Wayne Honeycutt for I think biology, maybe. Yeah. What was her first name? Miss Hayes, Bob Hayes' wife.
Yes, I remember her. She was our guidance counselor.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She was the math teacher. She's who I had.
Joanne Hayes.
Joanne, that's it. She's the one I had most of my math with. And Miss Olinger, she was a teacher up there. She started out substituting, but then I think she stayed over at maybe the middle school. She didn't come to high school. But I was trying to think of some other. Steve Pemberton, she was there. I think Coach Tom was already gone at that time. He was going to vocational or something, but I was down to their house enough. And,
you and Tommy friends.
Yeah.
What about sports? Did you play? Did they even have a golf team then?
Oh yeah, we had a good golf team. My junior year, we won the Tri-County tournament. We used to play the Tri-County. It was us, Harriman, Kingston, McMinn County, Crossville, and I can't remember the other, but we played it every year out at Tansy. In my junior year, we won it. Sam Owens was the medalist. He got his own trophy. And in my senior year, we won it that year. So, yeah, we had and we had probably about 9 or 10 players on the team, because Coach Cummins, when he replaced Coach Mason as coach, most of the teams you couldn't play but 5 players that their score would count. And so Coach Cummins started getting the ones that weren't going to, their score wasn't going to count, to caddy for the ones that were going to play. And so that worked out good. That's a good idea. And but we had some good teams
Good.
up there. Gerald Russell, he was a good golfer. Ronnie Simcox, Steve Goss, Tony Hamby, I think I mentioned him. Gary played, Steve Barnett. There's quite a few played on the golf team. We didn't have any problem, getting one up. And I'm glad to see April working with the golf team like she is. That's good to see.
Did you play other sports, or were you just focused on golf?
I wanted to play baseball because I played Little League, and baseball and golf was at the same time. And so I wanted to play both sports. And I went to Coach Eichelberger first, and he said, I don't have a problem. He said, me and Coach Mason, if he agrees to it, we'll work out which one you play. If we're in tournaments or whatever, we want you to play, the baseball, And went to Coach Mason, and he would not agree to it. He said, nope, can't do. And I said, well, I'll make golf the priority, and I'll play golf matches, and he said, nope, cannot do. And he never would let me. And I didn't try after that.
Right. You chose golf.
Chose golf. Played 1 year of football. Played a little basketball in junior high. But once I had that niche for golf, I thought, man, this is it. You ain't gonna get hit. You ain't gonna get hit by a 80-mile-an-hour fastball or whatever.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
There's a few horror stories, but not
The only other
typical.
thing I was going to add, Leanne, is about my son. Very proud of him,
Yeah,
Kevin.
tell us about Kevin. What
He's been with Volunteer Electric probably right at 30 years. He started Volunteer Electric the week before my grandson Nathan was born in '96, and he's the area manager for Volunteer Electric now. He's got Cumberland County, and he's got Monterey. I don't know how he got Monterey to the side, but he's got him. He usually goes up there and spends Friday, and he's hard to get a hold of sometimes. We've got a little thing. He said, Dad, if you ever need me, just put in the text says 911, and I know you fell or you got lost or something, So, but he lives across Dunbar. He lives on the golf course. I can get in the cart and be there in about 2 minutes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep.
Does he also play golf?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He started out in golf when he got out of school.
But he went to school in Rockwood.
Yeah, yeah. He graduated, I think it's 89 when he graduated. But he started out in the golf business at Fairfield Glade. And Kip Henley, Stacy was working over there then. And I think Tommy Fuller was working at Druid Hills. Fairfield's got 4 courses over there. And Kevin started work there, and he got assistant pro's job at Stonehenge. But when he got married and started a family of his own, he figured out quick, it's going to be kind of hard to make it, him and his wife both working on a golf. But he was lucky he got into friends with Bobby Randolph, who was the area manager, and him and Kevin just clicked. And he might have given Bobby some free golf over at Fairfield, I don't know. But anyway, they became real good friends, and every time I'd run into Bobby, he'd start to talk about retirement before he got sick. He said, Kevin's going to be my replacement. And I said, well, I hope you're right. And he was right. He got sick, cancer, and passed away, I guess it's been 6-7 years ago. And Kevin was fortunate enough and blessed enough to get that. So, but he loves what he does.
That's so good.
And, as we speak, he's in Missouri right now on a mission, helping out. He does a lot of missions. He just got back a couple of months ago from Belize, and then about a month ago they got back from Nicaragua.
Wow.
And so.
Does he go to the same church as you in Crossville?
He goes to Plant Grow Harvest. It's a new church that he's helped get started. They're about 6 years old, and their membership is growing, but he still comes over to Central quite a bit. But there's a guy that had a farm that donated a bunch of land to one of the churches up there, and they've got cabins all around for troubled youth, and they bring them out there and let them, do different things out there, and they was going out there to kind of clean up the site some for them, bush hog and cut back brush and things like that. But,
Well, that's wonderful, and it's so nice that you live close by and you can, see him.
you'd think.
Just text 911
Yeah,
if you get lonely.
No, I see him quite a bit. He comes by pretty regular, and we run into each other quite a bit.
That's fun. So, Larry, after high school, what did life look like for you?
Well, this is odd, but I just now thought I was one of the first students that went to Rome State.
Okay, cool.
Did y'all know where Rome State initially was located?
No?
Fairmont School.
The old Fairmont School.
Down in South Harriman. We had,
I thought they started in the old Fairmont School.
yeah,
Huh.
I know we had, it was part of the old, I guess, Fairmont School, and then I think addition to that, they had maybe some trailers up there.
Yes.
And I don't remember how long they stayed up there. I know when, after my second year, I think they went down to the regular campus there. But
My favorite is when you see those pictures from the Fairmont School, and you can tell they're in a school that wasn't meant for college students.
Yeah.
Like, especially Sammy Mowry, I guess she's Sammy Reed at the time.
yeah,
She just looked completely out of place in those hallways, and it's the greatest thing ever when
We
I
all
say
did.
Rome State and everything meets them right here.
yeah.
Because it
We all-
wasn't meant for.
We all did, because I remember the only one that I can remember starting at the same time I did was Bobby Miller, Brillo, the original
Yes.
Brillo Miller.
Yeah.
And I remember me and Bobby walked in there that first day, and there's some of them seats like you're talking
Yes.
about. And Brillo said, well, I won't use the exact word, but he said, we can't sit in those seats. Said, we might sit on top of them. And that professor, whoever he was, he said, well, sit on the floor if that makes you feel any better. And I don't remember, I assume we sat down somewhere, but it wasn't not made for college size
No,
kids.
those
No.
other pictures are hilarious. They look
That's
like
funny.
you look like you're touring an elementary school. is
Yeah,
what it looks
that's
like.
what it is. I think, best I remember, they started upgrading,
Yeah.
the furniture, but I think it's just a spur of the moment decision, because I guess they got their grants
And I think they had to start it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. You're
Yeah.
trailblazers starting out at Rome
Fairmont's
State.
still there. Fairmont School's still there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that Rome State had started there, and I've
Yeah.
certainly not talked to anybody that attended when that was the
Yeah.
facility.
It's up there behind where that flea market or something up in there.
A1 Tactical.
A1
It's behind
Tactical,
A1
that's what, yeah,
Tactical.
that's what I was thinking about, yeah. It's back up, y'all right up there sometime,
I
just take
probably
a
will.
gander.
It's right here. Come on.
We-
Yeah,
It's tiny.
yeah,
And yet, where the playgrounds are is where the trailers sit. They're behind the school, but you can see that. I think there's a parking lot here now that's obvious where stuff was at in
Yeah.
the past life.
How long did students and classes have to meet out there, I wonder? When was the current campus open? Brian's the encyclopedia here.
Let me take Sammy
Yeah.
Mowry. We'll get an
well,
answer
we
eventually.
went
Okay.
to Fairmont the fall of '71, right after graduated high school.
Okay.
And I want to say, I may be wrong, Brian, you probably know better, but it may have been '73 when they opened the campus down there where it is now, maybe.
Well, he'll find that
Yeah,
out.
'cause they
In
went
the
out-
meantime, you went to Rome State, and then did you continue with college? Did you go to work? What happened?
Went to work, basically, like a lot of the people in Rockwood. Went to Hosier Mill, stayed down there a few years. Bill Burrows was the plant manager. David Poole was the assistant plant manager, and I still remember a lot of the other supervisors down there, but I stayed down there, I don't know, 6, 7 years probably, and then come out from down there, and Mr. Baisley, Albert, Gary's dad, and 19 other private investors had started SEG up in
Off of Galahar?
off of Galahar,
Yep.
back there on Bear Creek. And so they wound up buying the bank building at Bank of Roane County, which David worked for at that time. They were going to get some of the early business. That's when they was talking about the breeder reactor coming in, which fizzled out, never happened. So the bank put the building up for sale, and Mr. Basil and the 19 others. I know Noah and Adam Liff, Steiner Liff Metals in Nashville, they was part of the owners. Bud Ayersmith, some of those. But I went to work there, and then from there I went to K25, went to work for a subcontractor out there, West Chem. We had all the, that's kind of where my environmental management background came in. We had, at that time, we had all 3 contracts at all 3 sites for the management of the waste. We'd get it out of the buildings, package it, and then get it ready for transport. Send it over to Y12 or had a place out in Colorado that took waste. But I was there when, I don't know if y'all probably never paid any attention, but we used to have to send the trucks on the public road going from K25 over to Y12. About, I guess about 3 or 4 years before I left K25, they got the money to build a straightaway road directly from K25 to Y12, which eliminated the trucks from having to get on the road, which reduced the risk for something being
Spills.
spilled. Yeah. So there.
What years did you do that?
Let's see, 89 through 2004, I think, with is Diversified Scientific Services Inc. It's still up there. It's owned by Permafix now.
Yep.
Right.
We used to call it Dizzy for short. But 2004, I went to work for the West Chem, and then 2010, I went to Y12. But I've worked at all 3 sites.
Lots of Rockwood people.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But did you ever cross paths with my friend Renee Eccles?
Renee Eccles, she was marketing person, I think. Yeah.
She was a high school friend of mine when I lived in Dahlonega, Georgia. Daddy, was in the service, and her daddy was. Anyway, we've kept in touch all these years since we were children. And she is, she's kind of a big wig in that business,
Yeah.
placing, where does the waste go? What kind of waste is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
How do we dispose of it? So.
Yeah, she, I don't think I run into her that much after I was over at Y12, but I remember running into her. She's a sharp lady and always very supportive. You know, I'd have trucks lined up from here to yonder, and I'd call somebody and they wouldn't give me the answer I was wanting. I'd call Renee. I said, Renee, I need some trucks. Let me make a phone call.
Yeah. That's Renee, and
About
she is
15
really
minutes.
smart, and
Oh,
she's
yeah.
very down to earth.
Yep. She'd call me back in about 15 minutes. She said, I've got you whatever I asked for on the way. Anything else I can do for you? I said, no, you took care of me.
Okay, fine.
Till next time, anyway.
Fun. So then when you retired, you had to get closer to more golf courses. Is that why you moved to Crossville?
Well, yeah, Kevin and grandson lived out there, and I didn't think Donna would ever move out there. She's kind of cold-natured, and she loved her pool. And I told her, I said, we move out there, you can forget a pool, because I said, if we move out there, you're going to have to blast. And that, I don't know what it costs to blast, and I ain't blasting. But she just got to the point where she wanted to move out there, and then we've been there ever since September 2014.
Okay.
Golf is not entirely the reason, but it had a large part of it. They call Crossville the golf capital.
Yes, it's.
Yeah, I guess it could be, but you look at Knoxville, you look at Nashville, some of them cities, it's got 15 courses or whatever, but they get so much package play, people coming up from up north.
Yeah.
And then they eventually go up and cater to them people in the off season. They'll send them down, bring them down, and keep them in the condos for 2 or 3 days free. take them around, show them lots, and a lot of times they buy a lot and go ahead and keep it till they get retired up north, Michigan, Wisconsin, up in there, and then they move down here. And it's so busy over there.
Those Yankees love to come to Tennessee.
They do. They do. I mean,
and who wouldn't? Tennessee is a wonderful state.
well, I've had several of them that are out there at Bear Trace tell me, said, hey, we sold our house for X number of dollars and come down here and bought twice the house for a third the cost.
Yeah.
And I said, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out why you moved here then. But
So, Donna, tell us how and when you met and about your courtship a little bit.
well, her mother and Artie Billings back in the day ran the beach.
Okay.
Artie Billings and Faye Harvey were sisters. Faye later on, years after they got out of the beach, worked down at, Bill had the
photo shop.
and Faye worked down there in the photo shop. But the whole time they was at the beach, I didn't know Donna. In fact, I didn't really know Donna until my senior year. And it was kind of a recommendation from a friend, I guess. And I said, I'll try anything once, Lo and behold, I know that set my destiny, but we just clicked. And she worked at the nursing home when she had to retire on account of her illness. I think she was the second one in seniority, because Dr. Snodgrass, that's who she went to, and Dr. Snodgrass, originally was one of the owners, and she had an appointment or something. He said, hey, Donna, I need you to come up to the nursing home. I said, that'd be ideal for you. So she went up there and applied and got it, and there at the last, she was a physical therapy tech.
Okay.
And she loved it up there. It hurt her so bad having to leave. She got so close to the patients up there. A lot of them was like family to her. They didn't have sometimes family coming in like you'd think, but she loved it up there, and we made a good life. We lived down there in Smoke Rise, down there back of you, Abel's Valley.
Yes, the back pastures probably connect somewhere back there.
Yep.
In fact, Brillo mentioned during the 1993 blizzard, when they were restoring some electricity out in Smoke Rise, that you invited them in for coffee or food, and they had to rush off to another emergency.
Yeah.
Do you even recall?
Oh yeah, I remember that night. We had some trees that up in the woods right there behind our house that ice got on and broke the lines and everything, and I think it may have even broke one of the poles. But power company come up there, it's Brillo and Dowdy and some of that. I think Teddy Monday maybe even got in on the phone and come up there, but Donna was in there, and she said, them guys have got to be freezing, so I'm going to go in here and make a pot of coffee for them, get you thermoses down there in the garage and bring them up. And she went up there and made, I don't know what kind of sandwiches, she made a tray of sandwiches. Just about the time she got them made, and I was getting ready to take them out. In fact, I was backing up past my driveway, and I hollered, and I said, hey, I got something here for you. We don't have time. They'd got a hot call somewhere, priority call, they had to get there quick. And Donna said, well, you could take these sandwiches and coffee to them. And I said, no, I don't have any idea where they went. I didn't ask them, but I said, I'm kind of hungry myself. we had a neighborhood of kids, Odell's and Groves, and Jeff says, and he is over, we got part of Hillcrest over with us, and never did have to worry about getting rid of food in our house. They was always coming to, but yeah, I remember that night.
I think Brillo said that not long after they left.
The power went back out.
The power went back out.
It did. I remember now, because Nana said, well, don't give them sandwiches now. Said they didn't do a good job. I said, oh, I ain't got that dude. She is kidding, of course, but yeah, they worked. Man, I tell you what, that week of the blizzard and after the blizzard, man, I felt for them guys, because they worked nonstop.
Yeah, they did. You'll have to watch the blizzard. And you did watch the blizzard series, I think.
Yeah.
Are we wrapping it up?
It's up to you. You want to ask him a question?
You're going to ask the question. Larry, you've listened, so you may know that we ask a question of everybody. And Brian is going to pose that question now.
We don't expect you to answer it. It's not a quiz. But if it was, she would make you fold your paper a certain way and write your name in a certain corner. Trust me, been there, done that. But, you know, you're from Rockwood. We're all Rockwood people. We're proud of it. Do you know why our mascot is the tiger?
Well, there was a circus that came through town. That sounds like Peabody done it.
Yes.
You know, I can't believe, no, I don't know it to answer your question. I've asked several. In fact, I think Sissy Brown was going to ask Tony, and I tried to call their uncle Bones.
Yeah.
But I think he's having some health issues. His hearing's not good. He probably didn't hear the phone, and Sissy thought he might know.
Oh, I Daddy to ask him. They talk a lot.
Yeah, but I don't have a clue. But what I was going to say, I was making that up. That's what I figured Peabody would do, you know.
Oh, yeah, I'm surprised.
Peabody done something one year, and y'all may have heard about this, but it's when he was on the radio station. I think it was I don't want to say it's a whale, but he got on there. Y'all probably don't know.
You need to listen. We
got that.
We have the recording.
No, not the whale one. We have the aliens.
The aliens,
yeah.
yes.
But there was one about a whale.
He told us about it. Yes.
I had women back then at the hosting mill. I had about 50 women, and I think Ted Cooley, in fact, me and him were sharing the office together. I believe we was in the management training program at Berlin at the time, and heard all this noise out there, chairs are scooting, and you know, I got up and looked out the office window, and all these women are running over. Of course, didn't have cell phones back in the 70s. They were running, you know, try to get a phone or something, call their family or something. I went out there and I said, "What is going on?" I thought they had a fire or something, and they began to tell me. I said, "Who said that?" They said, "Peabody. They come on with bulletin news on Big Wolf."
Bulletin,
you know,
breaking
boy, they
news.
believed him. Whatever Peabody said was the gospel. And I said, "You can't pay no attention to Peabody." But he'd laugh about that for, you know, somebody. He loved for people to ask him, you know, about that. No, I'd tickle him to death, you know. But no, I don't know. I don't have a clue, and I can't believe that some of us have not asked that. You know, even,
I know. No, we
either
just take it for granted.
take it for what we had. You know.
That's right.
Okay, so I'm going to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. We're talking about sports, and my cousin Craig was part of this cheering group,
Bleacher bums.
Yeah.
the Bleacher Bums. Craig tells me that on November 14th, 1969, I said, "Craig, you need to come on the podcast." Oh, no, he's not interested in the podcast, but November 14th, 1969, he started a cheer. Na, 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 hey, goodbye. You know, that's very world famous now.
Second time you've sang on the podcast.
He said, I'm going to start doing it every time. He says that he is the first. He led it. I believe him. He said it was on the B-side. Craig had I remember Craig had just gobs of albums and records. And he said it's on the B-side of a Steam record. And he started leading that chant, and that was a purely Rockwood thing. And then years later, it was everywhere. Can you verify this story?
It's true. We were a pretty, I'd say at one time, we probably had about 20, 22. I remember we got so bad, or not bad, but we had bad too, but so loud that the cheerleaders were complaining because we were going over them. J.C. Smith come up there all bent out of shape, you know, and he said, "You boys going to have to pipe it down a notch or two. The cheerleaders can't get people to hear their cheer. They don't know when they're supposed to stand up, sit down, whatever." Well, he said, "Don't be doing it when the cheerleaders." So we agreed to that. But what you have to, I bet Craig didn't tell you about the helmet that he wore.
Well, we saw a picture of it in the yearbook. He did not tell me, but we did.
Yeah.
We thought, what
German
the heck?
helmet.
Yes.
German helmet. That was his thing. I don't. That part I don't know how he come up with it, but I've asked him when he's come to him class. I said, "Where's that German helmet?" And I can't remember what he told me, but I don't think it's around anymore. But he would come in, and the rest of us hickeys down there sold these railroad type hats. They were striped. And a lot of us wore them. And
funny.
We kept Gordon Hickey in business on the. Oh, that's it. Yeah, yeah. He even painted it. Had
I'll
the
send
R
that
there.
picture to Scott.
Yeah, but that's fact. What he told you. He didn't tell you none of the lyrics, did he?
Just what I sang.
Go ahead and sing the next verse.
Yeah, it'd be. Might be a notch above X-rated. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I'll have to look the song up then.
Yeah, we got chastised about that also.
Oh, you sang the whole song.
Oh yeah, we didn't just
Leon
sing.
will be performing it next podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Tell Craig he needs to come on this show.
I'm gonna get Craig to teach that song to you. I know he remembered. He probably's got it wrote down at the
I'm sure
house.
he has it right
Yeah,
here.
that was some good years, but I think the best is when JC come up there and said, "Pop down, you drowning out the cheerleaders," you know. So,
You know, them principals just can't let anybody have a good time.
no.
We are killjoys, for sure.
But that's some good time. I think it's 69. I think because I was a
telling you,
sophomore
he had
then.
the exact date for me. I can't. I've already.
He's probably got
November
rid-
14th,
Would it be easier if I hold the
1969.
That would have
Would it
been.
be easier if I hold the phone? Can you read
Yeah,
it
hold it back there
better?
for me.
Now the best I remember, Craig could correct me. This may be my memory showing up, but I think we only did it at basketball games.
I think that's correct.
I guess we figured we couldn't drown nobody out, out in the wide open spaces.
I think he played football, so
He did. He played end. He was fast.
He, funny. He says, nobody but the indigenous people in Rockwood are aware of the origin of this chant. This is his text to me. And I'm like, he says, ask anyone.
Hey, he would get us together out there, if he caught several of us together, like out there on a lunch break or, in between class. Hey, we need to rehearse this noon. I got some. We'd get over there like we was a big Broadway thing, and he'd say, "No, you ain't got it. You ain't got it. Work on that.
Runs in the family.
I mean, he was, yeah.
It runs in the family.
Yeah.
What can I say?
And then some of us would come out and we'd see Craig down there. He'd be looking around and we'd duck and run around. They'd say, "Where are you going?" I said, "There's Helpenberger down there wanting us to practice. I ain't got time to practice."
That's funny. He missed his calling to be a bossy principal, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, funny. Okay, well, we'll have to get him to listen to the podcast
He
sometime.
needs to come on here.
He needs to. So when
really-
you're out at the clubhouse eating your lunch, who knows, Brian and Scott and I might just pop in there one Friday and
Tell me it's time to practice.
start practicing your chants.
Yeah. Craig, Leanne, and Brian are coming out, and they're only coming to hear the song.
Yes, so y'all need to rehearse.
Most of the ones that was in our group, wasn't no girls in it. Craig could get it wound up.
I bet.
And people got to come and just see what the next year was going to be. Just in anticipation. We might should have sold tickets,
We should
second
have.
thought.
And parents and kids are too soft for it now.
Yeah.
They complain to the
God.
principal and teachers when somebody hurts their feelings in the
man.
stands.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun. Thank you, Larry, for coming in and talking
I've
to us
enjoyed it.
today.
I probably talked more than I should have.
No, I love it. I absolutely love it. This will air, I think, May 18th.
Okay.
But I'll text you and remind you.
Okay.
But you're a listener anyway, so you're
I am. I keep checking on it. I get them notifications,
Yeah.
I pull it up, and I still remember that intro song, I mean, gosh. You couldn't have picked anything any better,
Perfect.
for
It is.
Rockwood.
It is.
And, but yeah, I've listened a lot. That and Peabody, I tell you what, I laughed so hard, I probably had tears in my eyes. And of course, Brillo, he's in his own world, you know.
We've got lots of good characters here in
Yeah.
Rockwood. Okay, all right.
You know, I agree with our guest. When you're raised in Rockwood, you have it made.
We
It's
did.
true.
You know, we used to have, a lot of people don't remember, but they used to have the beach house down there. You probably don't
At Rockwood
remember.
Beach?
Yeah, right up there. It's up there, I think, where they've got that nice restroom built for like when they're having fishing tournaments. There was a beach house. The whole community could use it.
Okay.
We
I do
went
not
down there.
remember the beach
I remember
house.
the Hembrees went down there for family reunions, and like on Friday or Saturday night, we'd have dances down there.
We
or
talked about
Somebody
it.
did talk about the dances.
Yes.
and let's see, they called them sock hops up when we had them up at the gym.
Yes, someone talked about it.
Yeah, but
Was it Ann Scanlon that talked about it?
probably was.
Ann or Ed Grief, actually.
Or Ed Grief? Yeah.
Probably Ed Grief. He was a senior when I was a freshman, so he was during that period. Yeah, but boy, that's nice. And but anyway, we had fun.
We did. I had fun. This was
did.
fun. This was a lot of fun.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, it was our joy. Once again, we want to thank everybody tuning in and no. Hey,
Hey, goodbye. Or no, I guess you have to do this, right?
Do that one more time so we can have that forever etched in our memories, please.
We're getting crazy. We're going to go to the clubhouse. We're going to get that whole gang to sing it for us.
If he's still got that helmet, we're going to give it on Leanne.
Yeah, that's right.
And
She's gonna
when she's singing
dance for us.
the jingle.
But thank you as we continue to tell the story of Rockwood, the story of us.